The Big Fisherman. The Big Fisherman, released in 1959, often goes unnoticed among faith-based films of its era. Adapted from Lloyd C. Douglas's best-selling novel, this biblical epic centers on Simon Peter's transformation from fisherman to apostle, a focus seldom seen in major studio productions. Despite ambitious sets in California designed to evoke ancient Judea, the film never matched the blockbuster status of other contemporary films of the era. Howard Keel's portrayal of Peter received mixed reviews, with some critics appreciating his more relatable approach compared to the genre's typical stoic leads. The film's emphasis on doubt and internal struggle rather than straightforward triumph set it apart, but it struggled to attract a broad audience. The Big Fisherman earned 3 Academy Award nominations: Best Cinematography, Color, Best Art Direction Set Decoration, Color, and Best Sound Recording. Some speculate that Universal Pictures prioritized flashier titles in their marketing, leaving this thoughtful drama overlooked. Today, The Big Fisherman is rarely aired, its nuanced perspective on faith largely forgotten, a surprising outcome for a film once poised for classic status. The Keys of the Kingdom. The Keys of the Kingdom, released in 1944, is often overlooked when classic faith-based films are discussed. Gregory Peck, then an emerging actor, earned his first Academy Award nomination for his portrayal of Father Francis Chisholm, a Scottish priest facing cross-cultural challenges in China. The film received positive reviews from outlets like the New York Times for its thoughtful approach to faith and cultural exchange, but it arrived during a wave of World War II dramas and patriotic blockbusters, making its quiet, reflective tone stand out. While not a runaway box office hit, it achieved both commercial and critical success, notable for its nuanced depiction of religious conviction and respect for non-Western characters, qualities uncommon in Hollywood productions of the 1940s. Some believe that studio heads hesitated to promote a story centered on perseverance and humility at a time when audiences preferred escapism and heroics. Over the years, the film's reputation has grown among scholars and cinephiles, who highlight John M. Stahl's restrained direction and the careful adaptation of A.J. Cronin's novel. Despite its strengths, The Keys of the Kingdom remains an underrated gem, respected in academic circles for its sincere and complex exploration of faith, even if it never achieved the iconic status of religious epics like Ben-Hur. The Miracle of Our Lady of Fatima. The Miracle of Our Lady of Fatima, released in 1952, took a different path from the era's biblical blockbusters by focusing on the Marian apparitions of 1917 Portugal. While the film aimed for authenticity in costumes and atmosphere, production remained on Warner Bros. Studio lots in California, an irony noted by film enthusiasts. Critics praised the young cast for their restraint, avoiding melodrama. Studio executives reportedly debated a more sensationalized approach, but the creative team insisted on a respectful tone, distinguishing it from Protestant-leaning faith films of the decade. Though overshadowed by grand spectacles like the Ten Commandments, the film's nuanced treatment of Catholic themes attracted a loyal, if quieter, following. Its understated style is often credited with contributing to its reputation as a hidden gem, especially among Catholic audiences where Marian apparitions remain a topic of discussion. Today, film historians and religious scholars recognize its sincere portrayal and lasting influence, a legacy that, while never dominating the box office, continues to ripple through faith-based cinema history. Come to the Stable. Come to the Stable, released in 1949, stands as a unique entry among faith-based films of its era. While the late 1940s saw Hollywood producing serious, often somber religious dramas, this film dared to blend gentle comedy with spiritual determination. Loretta Young and Celeste Holmes starred as 2 French nuns determined to build a children's hospital in New England, a plot inspired by real-life stories of nuns pursuing similar missions. Director Henry Koster, known for his sensitive handling of religious material, reportedly insisted on a tone that balanced reverence with relatable humanity. Industry whispers suggest that the warmth between Young and Holm on screen reflected a genuine off-camera friendship, fueling speculation that their improvisational moments gave the film its distinctive charm. The film's 7 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, led to industry chatter about whether its spiritual optimism cost it the top prize, especially as All the King's Men, a weightier, secular drama, swept the major categories. Production ingenuity was evident, with Koster's team using matte paintings and studio sets to recreate the New England backdrop on a modest budget. Over the decades, limited home video releases and changing cultural tastes nudged the film into obscurity. Yet some film enthusiasts believe that in today's streaming era, with renewed interest in faith-based stories, Come to the Stable might have found a much larger audience. Francis of Assisi. Francis of Assisi, released in 1961, stands as a unique entry among faith-based films of its time. While blockbuster epics like Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments dazzled with spectacle, this film chose a more contemplative approach, highlighting humility and devotion over grand drama. Bradford Dillman's portrayal of the medieval saint provided a subtle alternative to the era's larger-than-life performances, and the CinemaScope visuals lent the story a dignified presence. Contemporary reviews were mixed, with some critics commending the film's sincerity, while others questioned its pacing. Its box office performance lagged behind more sensational releases, prompting speculation in industry circles about whether its focus on spiritual authenticity limited its appeal. There are reports that the production consulted Franciscan scholars for accuracy, and some suggest studio executives considered adding more dramatic elements to attract audiences. Despite never reaching blockbuster status, Francis of Assisi continues to draw viewers who appreciate its dedication to faith and historical detail, earning a quiet reputation as one of the most overlooked faith-based films from the 1930s through the 1960s. The Nun Story. The Nun Story, released in 1959, stands as a rare gem among faith-based films of its era, quietly defying expectations. Audrey Hepburn took on the challenging role of Sister Luke, born Gabrielle van der Maal, a Belgian woman whose journey from convent life in the 1930s to nursing in the Belgian Congo and a mental hospital reveals a layered struggle with obedience, sacrifice, and faith. The film, adapted from Catherine Hume's 1956 novel inspired by the real-life Marie-Louise Habet's, avoided melodrama in favor of raw introspection. Director Fred Zinnemann chose authentic European locations, including Rome and Bruges, and even filmed in a real leper colony in the Congo, giving the production a grounded realism. 8 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture and Best Actress, followed, yet the film often slips through the cracks of mainstream retrospectives. Some believe its refusal to offer easy answers or gloss over spiritual conflict made it too daring for its time. Whispers in film circles suggest Hepburn's own approach to the role added a subtle gravity, though speculation about her personal connection to the material persists. Today, The Nun Story is frequently cited by directors as a model for authenticity in religious drama, its influence echoing far beyond his understated legacy. Heaven Knows Mr. Allison. Heaven Knows Mr. Allison, released in 1957, stands as a striking departure from the typical faith-based films of its time. Instead of grand miracles, the story centers on a Marine and a nun, Corporal Allison and Sister Angela, stranded on a deserted Pacific island during World War II, where faith is tested in the quietest moments. Deborah Kerr's portrayal of Sister Angela earned her an Academy Award nomination, and critics often praised her ability to balance spiritual conviction with human vulnerability. Director John Huston, known for his unconventional approach, steered the film away from spectacle, focusing instead on whispered prayers and moral dilemmas. While religious epics drew crowds with lavish effects, this film carved out space for being subtle. Rumors circulated that the on-screen chemistry between Kerr and Robert Mitchum sparked talk of an unusually close working relationship, adding another layer of intrigue. Despite critical acclaim, Heaven Knows Mr. Allison is rarely included in lists of classic religious cinema, a fatesome attribute to its understated approach. The film quietly marked its 65th anniversary in 2022, prompting a handful of retrospectives but still remaining underappreciated. For those seeking overlooked gems in faith-based storytelling, this film remains a compelling study in restraint, nuance, and the complexities of belief under pressure. The Song of Bernardet. The Song of Bernardet, released by 20th Century Fox in 1943, garnered 12 Academy Award nominations and secured 4 major Oscars, including Best Actress for Jennifer Jones in her breakout role. Adapted from Franz Werfel's best-selling novel, the film recounts the journey of Bernadette Soubirous, a miller's daughter from Lourdes, France, whose reported visions of the Virgin Mary in 1858 changed her life and inspired worldwide pilgrimage. Studio executives reportedly questioned whether American audiences would embrace a story so deeply rooted in French Catholic tradition. Arthur C. Miller's Oscar-winning black and white cinematography set a new standard for reverence and atmosphere in religious cinema. While the film's release is said to have increased public interest in Lourdes, concrete evidence of a dramatic pilgrimage surge is hard to pin down. Despite its critical acclaim and enduring respect among film historians for its nuanced depiction of faith and doubt, the Song of Bernardet is often eclipsed in popular memory by later, more extravagant biblical epics. Nevertheless, it quietly maintains a spot on many authoritative lists of influential religious films from Hollywood's golden age. Lilies of the Field. Lilies of the Field, released in 1963, quietly redefined faith-based cinema. Sidney Poitier's portrayal of Homer Smith, a drifter who helps a group of German-speaking nuns build a chapel in the Arizona desert, delivered a cultural milestone. On April 13, 1964, Poitier became the first black actor to win the Best Actor Academy Award, a landmark that resonated throughout the Civil Rights era. The film's modest budget, around $240,000, led director Ralph Nelson to focus on character and conviction rather than spectacle. Unlike the grand biblical epics of the time, Lilies of the Field drew inspiration from Matthew chapter 6, verse 28, grounding its story in everyday faith and perseverance. While critics praised the film, it often remained in the shadows of blockbusters like Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments. Some suggest that its quiet, character-driven approach is precisely what secured its legacy among faith-based audiences, where it remains a favorite for community and church screenings. Rumors persist that real nuns appeared as extras to stretch the shoestring budget, adding another layer of intrigue to its production. Today, Lilies of the Field is often celebrated as a touchstone for subtle, heartfelt religious cinema. The Left Hand of God. The Left Hand of God, released in 1955, stands out as a faith-based film that avoids the era's typical black and white morality. Humphrey Bogart, usually associated with tough guy roles, surprised critics by taking on the part of a downed American pilot posing as a priest in post-war China. Industry chatter at the time questioned whether audiences would accept Bogart in a clerical collar, and some studio insiders reportedly expressed doubts about the casting. One rumor suggests that Bogart immersed himself in research, possibly consulting religious advisors to capture the character's inner conflict. Adapted from William E. Barrett's best-selling novel, the film explores faith, deception, and redemption with a complexity rarely seen in 1950s religious cinema. Director Edward Dmytryk navigated creative tensions, with some speculating that behind-the-scenes debates helped shape the film's nuanced tone. Despite critical recognition and star power, The Left Hand of God has faded into relative obscurity, often overshadowed by grander religious epics. Its cross-cultural themes and refusal to offer easy answers make it a quietly bold entry among the most underrated faith-based films of its era. The Miracle of the Bells. The Miracle of the Bells, released in 1948, is rarely mentioned among classic faith-based films from the mid-20th century, yet it stands out for its understated storytelling. Fred MacMurray leads as a weary press agent, while Frank Sinatra, then better known for his singing, surprises with a restrained performance as Father Paul. Unlike the era's grand biblical spectacles, the film unfolds in a small Pennsylvania town, centering on the fulfillment of a dying actress's final wish. The New York Times in March of 1948 commended Sinatra's unexpected depth, challenging those who doubted his casting. The climactic bell-ringing scene symbolizing hope and community has inspired stories about the lengths the crew went for authenticity. Some suggest that coordinating the bells required a dedicated team of local extras and sound engineers. Though its initial box office success faded with the rise of more lavish religious films, historians often cite The Miracle of the Bells as a quietly innovative blend of spiritual yearning and Hollywood realism, overshadowed by the louder productions that followed. Martin Luther. Martin Luther, released in 1953, stands as a rare example of mid-century faith-based cinema that dared to challenge the status quo. Directed by Irving Pichel and featuring Niall McGuinness in the title role, the film dove into the controversies of the Protestant Reformation with a level of candor that startled many at the time. Backed by Lutheran organizations, the production sought historical accuracy, consulting theologians to capture the gravity of Luther's defiance in 1517. While critics praised McGuinness's restrained intensity, the film's uncompromising tone sparked tension beyond the screen. Reports swirled about bans in regions with strong Catholic influence, including Spain and Quebec, fueling speculation that religious sensitivities hampered its distribution. Some suggest its frank depiction of dissent made major studios cautious, limiting its box office potential despite positive reviews. Though adopted by seminaries and classrooms, Martin Luther never achieved widespread recognition. A curious fate for a film that refused to play it safe, and one that continues to prompt debate among film historians and religious scholars alike. The Small Miracle. The Small Miracle, released in 1951, is often overshadowed by grander religious films of its era. Unlike the sweeping spectacle of Ben-Hur, this film offers a gentle, introspective story about a young boy's quest to save his ailing donkey by seeking a blessing from St. Francis of Assisi. The film's understated approach to faith and miracles drew praise for its sincerity and warmth, even as it struggled to find a wide audience. Some film enthusiasts speculate that its modest tone and lack of dramatic flair made studios hesitant to promote it alongside more extravagant religious fare. The lead actor's heartfelt performance and the film's focus on compassion over spectacle have earned it a quiet following among those who appreciate subtlety and faith-based storytelling. Though it never achieved mainstream success, The Small Miracle endures as a touching exploration of hope, kindness, and the power of belief. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment. Also consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to get notified of our new videos each week. Thanks for watching.